Hello again and welcome back to part 7 of Alicia Rowe's garden crochet along. I'm going to work from where we finished off video part 6, which was the star stitch and then the row of the 2 half doubles on the wrong side. We're going to work back on the right side for the next round, which is going to be this round of V stitches. We're going to work from here through to this bit here on this video. I'm using 5mm hook and double knit yarn. I hope that you're feeling as if you've got a blanket by now. So we'll start with the next row. So I'm using the green yarn for this row. We're going to start in the corner space here and work 2 doubles, a chain 1 and another 2 doubles into that same chain space there in the corner. We're now going to work the V stitches as we've worked them before, skipping 2 stitches. So we've got the one that's hidden here and this one. We're going to work a V stitch into that next stitch. Skip 2 stitches and we're going to work a V into the next one. And just carry on the same way all the way to the end of this row, working a V stitch, skipping 2 stitches and working another V stitch. So skip 2 and the V. The stitches will look a little bit different on this row because we worked this last row on the wrong side and we're now back onto the right side, so the stitches are a little bit more defined. You can see definitely there that we've got 2 stitches to skip and then into the next stitch along. Chain 1 and the second half of the V, skip 2 stitches and work the V stitch again. So I'll let you pause the video and let you work your V stitches around the around this side. When you reach the end of the row, you should have 35 V stitches along this row. And when we get to the corner space here, we're going to work the 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles, and then we're ready to start along the next side. And again we'll do 35 V stitches along, skipping 2 stitches and do the first V into the next stitch along. Again skip 2 stitches and work the next V. So we're just going to do this all the way around. If you find that you've not got 35 V's as you're reaching the end, instead of working 2 stitches in between, you could always just work 1 stitch to make sure that you've got the 35. We definitely need 35 for the next row along. So I'll meet you when we get to the end of this round and we're starting the next one. Once you've worked all the way around, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch that we started on the first corner, snip off the yarn and fasten off. We're now going on to row 39 and we're working the clusters with the doubles in between. I'm working this row in the peach colour And again we're going to start with the 2 doubles, slip knot onto the hook first, and then work the 2 doubles into that corner space. There's 1 and 2, chain 1 in between and work another 2 doubles into that same space there. In this on the next part of this row we're going to work the 2 3 double crochet clusters into the V, but before that we've got these 2 stitches here from the last corner. We're going to work a front post double around each of those 2 stitches, no chains in between, just the 2 doubles, and then we go into the first double here. We're going to work the same rows as we did back here, where we've got the 2 clusters and then the 2 doubles. So into the first V stitch I'm going to work a 3 double crochet cluster, 1, 2 and 3, yarn over, pull through all 3, and we've got a chain in between, and then we do another 3 double crochet cluster, and then we chain to fasten off. The next V stitch we're going to work the 2 doubles, and then we go straight into the next V stitch and work the 2 3 double crochet clusters. You're going to carry on all the way to the end of this row. When you get to the end there will be the 2 stitches that form the corner. We're going to work a front post double in the 2 stitches at either side of the corners with 2 doubles, a chain 1 and 2 doubles in between, and then we're working alternate 2 clusters, 2 doubles, 2 clusters, and then again into the 2 doubles in that next V, and then back onto the 2 clusters into the next V. So again, I'll leave you to pause the video and work this round. Just don't forget to do the front post doubles on those first 2 and the last 2 stitches of the row, and I'll meet you when we get to the next round. Just work this next corner for you. Don't forget the chain 1 after the cluster, and then the front post double around those last 2 stitches, 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles in the corner stitch, and then we start with the 2 front post doubles on this side, and then straight in to the 2 clusters again in that first stitch, and then 2 doubles into the next V. Oops. And then when you get to the last stitch, which will be the final front post double on the side, you'll join into the first stitch of the starting corner stitch, and I'll meet you when we get to the end. So we've now completed row 39. Row 40 is very similar to this row, where we're going to work again clusters into the clusters, but we're going to do the front post double around the doubles from the previous row. For this row I'm using the cream yarn, and again we start with our slip knot onto the hook and into that corner space, work 2 doubles, followed by a chain 1 and 2 more doubles. We're going to front post around the next 4 stitches, so we've got the 2 stitches from the corner, front post double round each of those 2, and then we're going to front post around the 2 front posts from the previous row as well. Now we go straight over to the middle of these 2 cluster stitches, and we're going to work a 3 double crochet cluster, chain 1 and another 3 double crochet cluster into that same stitch, fasten off with a chain 1, and then we've got the 2 doubles that we did into the V-stitch. We're going to do a front post double around each of those 2 stitches, and then we're back to the 3 double crochet cluster with a chain 1 in between and a second one into that same space. And when we get to the corner here, we're going to work this last cluster, chain 1 to fasten it off. We're now going to work a front post double into the 2 front post doubles. Oops, start that bit again. Front post into that first front post into the next one, and then we're going to work a front post double around the 2 stitches from the corner of the last round. So we've got 4 all together there, and then into that corner space we've got 2 doubles, chain 1 and the 2 doubles. Starting along on this next side, I'm going to work 2 front post doubles, 1 around each of the corner stitches, 1 and 2, and then a front post around each of those 2 front post doubles from the last round, and then straight over into the center of the clusters. We're going to do the 2 clusters, chain 1, 2 clusters, another cluster, chain 1, and then front post double around the 2 doubles from the previous row. It's just the same for all 4 sides, just working 2 clusters and then the front post doubles in between, and we've got the 4 front post doubles at the beginning of the row. We've also got the 4 front post doubles at the end before the corner, and I'll meet you when we get to the next round. And now on to round 41. I'm using white on this next row. Again, slip stitch onto the hook into the corner space and work 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 more doubles. Again, we're going to work front post doubles around the 2 corner stitches. There's 1 and 2, and then a front post double in each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we're going to work exactly with the same as we did on the last row, all the way around, with the 2 clusters into the middle of the clusters and the 2 front post doubles around the front post doubles from the previous row. So it's exactly the same as the last row, but we're going to have more front post doubles. We'll have the 2 around the 2 corner stitches plus the 4, so this time we've got 6 front post doubles before the corner, and we'll have 6 front post doubles after the corner, and then we just work again the 2 clusters into the clusters and 2 front post doubles around each of the front post doubles. We just do the same all the way around, and I'll see you when we get to the start of the next row. We're now on to round 42. I'm using the Sunshine Yellow. Slip knot onto the hook, and into the corner space we're going to work a single, 2 chain and another single into that same space. We're now going to skip that first stitch there. We're going to work a single in each stitch all the way along until we reach the end of the row, where again we're going to work a single, 2 chain and a single into the corner, and then we'll go straight on to the singles all along, skipping the first stitch and work a single in each row. When you've worked a single in each of the front post doubles, we're going to work into the clusters a little bit different. So we've got the singles in the top of each of the front post doubles, and then we're going to do a single in the first stitch of the first cluster. We're going to do 2 singles in between the clusters, and then we're going to skip the top of the cluster and we're going to do the last single of the repeat into the chain 1 that we did to fasten off that second cluster, and then 1 single into the top of each of the front post doubles, 1 single into the beginning of the cluster, 2 singles in between the clusters, 1 single into the finishing chain, and then again 1 single in each of the front post doubles, a single into the top of the cluster, 2 singles in between the clusters, and a single into that last finishing stitch of the cluster. When we get to the end, we're just going to do as we did at the beginning. We're going to work a single into each of these front post doubles up to the corner. Oops. 1 into that last one, and then into the corner space we're going to work 1 single, 2 chain and 1 single. We'll skip that first stitch there and we're going to do a single in each of the front post doubles. After that last front post double, again we're going to do a single into the first stitch there, 2 singles into the middle of the 2 clusters, and a single into the finishing chain, a single in each of those front post doubles, and then again a single into the first stitch of the cluster, 2 singles in between the clusters, and 1 single into that last chain that fastened off the cluster, and then 1 single in each of the 2 front post doubles. We just carry on all the way around, working the singles into the front post doubles, and then we've got 4 singles over the cluster. We've got 1 in the first stitch, 2 in the middle, and 1 in the last, and then 1 single in each of the double front posts. So if you want to carry on around, don't forget to skip that first stitch after you've done the corner, and then it's just 1 single in each of the front post doubles. We've got 4 singles over the cluster and 2 into each of the front post doubles, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of this row. We're now working on row 43, and I'm using the brown yarn. I'm going to slip knot onto the hook. Into the corner space there, I'm going to work 2 doubles, a chain 1 and 2 doubles, and on this row I'm just going to work a back post double around every stitch, so we don't skip that first stitch. We work the first back post double, and we're going to do the same all the way along until we reach the next corner. At the next corner it's just the 2 doubles, the chain 1 and the 2 doubles. So it's a nice straightforward and easy round, just working a back post double around every single and the 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles in the corners. Our next row, I'm using the pale mustard colour, and we're doing V-stitches. This is round 44. Into the corner I'm going to start with the 2 I've just realised I've only done the 1 double into the corner here, so I'm going to actually have to work in some extra stitches. So into that corner space we would have 2 doubles, a chain 1 and 2 doubles, and because I've only done the 1 stitch there, I should have done 2. I'm only going to miss 1 stitch, but you would miss 2 stitches and work a V, and then carry on as normal, where we skip 2 stitches and work a V stitch. Skip 2 stitches and work a V. We're going to do that all the way around this row. I'll just check how many V's we should have at the end. We'll have 43 V stitches along this row, and the 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles in the corners, and I'll see you when we get to the end of this row. So that completes row 44. We're now going on to row 45, and I'm using the cinnamon shade again for this one. We're going to start again as always with a slip knot onto the hook and into the corner space we're going to work the 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles, and as always I'm using the standing double to make that first stitch. So 2 doubles, 1 chain and 2 doubles to form the next corner. We're now going to work a single crochet into the second stitch of the corner stitch there. So the second double, we're going to work a single into that stitch. We're now going to work 7 doubles into the next V. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then into the next V we're going to work a single. Now we're just going to work this all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then into the next V a single. When we've worked the final 7 doubles into the last V stitch there, we're going to then just work 1 single crochet into the second of the 2 doubles in the corner, and then we're going to work the 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles in the corner. Then going to start exactly the same as we did before. Into the second stitch we're going to work a single, and then we're going to work the 7 doubles into that next V stitch, the first V stitch of this side, and we're again just going to work alternate V stitches with 7 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then a single into the next V stitch, and then back onto the 7 doubles into that next V stitch there. Three, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then a single into the next one, and just work all the way around all 4 sides, not forgetting that the first stitch after the corner is a single into the corner stitches, and then we've got the 2 doubles, 1 chain and 2 doubles in each of the corner stitches, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of this row. We're now on to the final row of this part of the crochet along. I'm using the pale lemon. I'm going to slip stitch onto the hook, and again we're going to start in the corner space. We're going to work back post doubles into the shells on this row. So we'll go into the corner and work 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles. We're going to skip the 2 stitches of the corner and the single that we did there, and we're going to work a back post double around each of the 7 doubles from the shell. 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then we're going to skip the single that we've got there in between the shells, and we're going to go straight into a back post double around that first double of the shell, and put a back post double around each of those stitches. I'm just going to carry on all the way around exactly the same, working the 7 stitches into the shell, skip the single that's in between, and then do the next 7. Carry on all the way around, and then you'll join after the 7 back post doubles here, you'll join into this first stitch with a slip stitch. So that concludes part 7 of the Alicia Rose Garden Crochet Along. I do hope you'll come back for part 8. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.